strike, and gas explosion kills family of four in southern Italy. This is the world news. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the World News on Providence Television International. My name is Edna Caesar Garrick. Now the details. Israel's military has warned civilians to avoid Hezbollah positions at its pound southern Lebanon, while it was reported that phone warnings have been received across the country. The Israeli army reported on Monday that its warplane has launched more than 100 strikes in the southern east of Lebanon and warned of further action against the Iran-backed army group, which launched a barrage of missiles into northern Israel the previous day. The intensification of the fighting across the shared border, which has seen low-level skirmishes since Israel launched its war on Gaza in October, follows last week's explosion of pages and walkie-talkie, of which killed dozens of Lebanon. The increased hostilities further raise fears of an all-out war between Israel and Hezbollah, or even a wider regional conflagration. In the early hours of Monday, Israeli military spokesperson Daniel Hagari said the army has conducted intensive strike against Hezbollah posts after identifying attempts to fire missiles. Israeli government recently declared that it was shifting more focus to the fighting with Hezbollah in a bid to allow the 60,000 or so Israeli evacuated from border areas to return. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant called on the public to remain calm as the military broadened its assault. On Saturday, Hezbollah launched dozens of rockets at Israel's Ramat David Air Base east of Haifa in its farthest-reaching attack inside Israel. At least 31 people were killed and more than 3,000 were grounded in the blast. These were widely blamed on Israel, which has neither confirmed nor denied responsibility. At least 6 people have been confirmed dead in Japan's Noto Peninsula after floods struck an area still recovering from a major earthquake 9 months ago. Heavy rain pounded the area over the weekend, with more than 540 millimeters of rain recorded in the city of Wajima over 72 hours, the heaviest continuous rain since comparative data became available. The region is still recovering from a magnitude 7.5 earthquake on January 1st, which toppled buildings, triggered landslide, and sparked a massive fire. Reports say 6 people have been killed, 5 in Wajima and 1 in nearby Suzu. At least 8 people were missing or unaccounted for, according to NHK, including a 14-year-old junior high school girl. Flood water inundated emergency housing built for those who had lost their homes in the earthquake, which killed at least 374 people, according to the government. Some of the missing workers on quake-related construction projects. Some 4,000 households were without power on Monday as a result of the rain, according to the electric power company. More than 100 areas in the region were cut off after landslide blocked roads. Military personnel have been sent to the area to help rescue workers after tens of thousands of residents were urged to evacuate. Heavy rain was also reported in the nearby northern prefectures, threatening flood and other damage and forcing the suspension of train services. 4 members of the same family, including 2 young children, have died in a gas explosion in southern Italy. Their 2-story home in the town of Saviano near Naples partially collapsed in the blast, killing the siblings, a boy and a girl, as well as their mother and grandmother. The father and a newborn were recovered from the rubble alive. Italian firefighters said he remained in hospital in Naples in serious condition, while the baby's injuries are not life-threatening. Italy's fire service reported that the parents and 3 children lived on one floor of the property, while another woman, said to be the grandmother, lived on the ground floor above. While authorities have not confirmed the ages of the children, but reports say that they may be 4 and 6. The Vigidel Foucault said the explosion occurred around 7 local time. Firefighters found children's father in the morning, then spent the day searching through the rubble, not locating the mother until 16:45. Search and rescue team operating with sniffer dogs continued the search for the grandmother in the night, announcing she was found, thereby wrapping up search. Investigations are continuing in the exact cause of the building collapse, but early theories suggest the house collapsed after a gas explosion. More than 60 civil protection volunteers joined the rescue effort. Images shared by the fire service showed rescue teams walking through the rubble of the destroyed building through the night. Drone footage of the scene showed 2 gaping holes in the roof of the building, which was partially collapsed. If you are just joining us, this is the World News on Providence Television International. Marxist-leaning politician Anura Kumara Dissanayake has taken his oath as Sri Lanka's new president after he was declared the winner of Saturday's election. Dissanayake took his oath at the Presidential Secretariat building in Colombo early Monday morning. He said he understood the complexity of the problems facing Sri Lanka and would work hard to realize people's hopes and win the confidence of all Sri Lankans. The 55-year-old leader of the People's Liberation Front JVP Party and National People's Power NPP alliance won the presidency with 42.31% of the vote, according to the Election Commission of Sri Lanka. Dissanayake ran for office on a promise to tackle corruption and clean up politics in the Southern Asian island nation. The election was first since mass protests forced Gotabaya Parajaska from office amid an economic collapse in 2022. The situation has now stabilized with the support of the International Monetary Fund, but the strict austerity measures and voters punished Ranil, who became president after Rajapaksa fled at the ballot box. The JVP led to rebellions in the 1970s and 1980s that killed more than 80,000 people before it renounced violence. Since his rise to popularity, he has softened some politics, saying he believes in an open economy and is not totally opposed to privatization. Away from the foreign scene, now back home, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has declared Senator Monday Okpebholo of All Progressive Congress APC as the winner of Saturday's governorship election in Edo State. Okpebholo polled 291,667 votes in the killing contested election to emerge winner. The candidate of the People Democratic Party, Aswan Godalo, emerged second with 247,274 votes, scoring during the polls. The Labour Party candidate Olumide Akpata came third, having secured 22,761 votes. In a statewide broadcast on Sunday night, Governor Obaseki appealed to residents to remain calm over the election outcome and not resort to violence and destruction of property. The governor also urged persons to explore legal options to express grievances, noting that peace and justice will always win over violence. Vice President Kashimu Shettima has arrived in New York to represent Nigeria at the 79th United Nations General Assembly. Shettima touched down at John F. Kennedy International Airport, New York, in the early hours of today. On arrival, the Vice President was received by the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tiyani. As directed by President Bola Tinubu, Shettima is leading Nigeria's delegation to this year's United Nations General Assembly. The Nigeria Meteorological Agency has predicted thunderstorm nationwide from today, Monday, September 23rd, to Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. Naimant weather outlook forecast morning thunderstorm today in part of Sokoto, Kebbi and Borno State. Other states where thunderstorms are envisaged include Yobe, Jigawa, Taraba Adamawa, Gobe, Bauchi, Kwara, Katsina, Kaduna, and Zamfara. Later today, thunderstorms are also expected in Enugu, Edo, Ebonyi, Ondo, Abia, Osun, Imo, Ekiti, Delta, Bayelsa, Cross River, Rivers, and Lagos. Nimet urged residents to avoid flood-prone areas as there is a high likelihood of urban flooding in major cities due to heavy downpour. The death toll from the recent cholera outbreak in Adamawa State has reached 12, with 304 individuals currently hospitalized. State Commissioner for Health Chief Felix Tangwamu provided the update during a media briefing in Yola, the state capital. Last week, the state confirmed the cholera outbreak, reporting 10 deaths and the hospitalization of the individuals. 304 people have been confirmed infected. The commissioner noted that since the outbreak began 2 weeks ago, 244 patients have been treated and discharged. With that, we've come to the end of the world news. But before we go, let's take a look at some major stories that made headlines. Marxist-leaning politician Rakumara Desnyake has taken his oath as Sri Lanka's new president after he was declared the winner of Saturday's election. Desnyake took his oath at the Presidential Secretariat building in Colombo early Monday morning. We also told you that 4 members of the same family, including 2 young children, have died in the gas explosion in southern Italy. Their 2-story home in the town of Saviano near Nepal's partially collapsed in the blast, killing the siblings, a boy and a girl, as well as their mother and grandmother. At least 6 people have been confirmed dead on Japan's Nato Peninsula after flood struck an area still recovering from a major earthquake 9 months ago. Heavy rain pounded the area over the weekend, with more than 540 millimeters of rain recorded in the city of Wajima over 72 hours, the heaviest continued rain since comparative data became available. And finally, Israel's military has warned civilians to avoid Hezbollah positions as it pounds southern Lebanon, while it was reported that phone warnings have been received across the country. The Israeli army reported on Monday that its warplanes have launched more than 100 strikes in the south and east of Lebanon and warned of further action against the Iran-backed armed group, which launched a barrage of missiles into northern Israel the previous day. That's our package. Thanks for watching. Edna Garrick is my name. Good afternoon.